I wouldn't have put any story in that book that I didn't think was interesting or shocking. My main concern were two people, my wife Susan and my friend David Crosby. The only time I spoke to legal at the publishers was a story of Crosby, who sold his Mercedes to a drug dealer for crack. The drug dealer OD'd, and David stole into his house and stole back the pink slip to the car and resold it. That was the one that they wanted to make sure was absolutely correct. And so I called David and I said, this is what I said. And he said, I did that. I put you guys through that madness. It's all totally cool with me. And that made me feel a lot better. I think music is an incredibly valuable tool to improve your life, to improve the relationship between you and your spouse, you and your friends, you and your sons, you and your daughters, you and your aunties. It's an important force to be reckoned with. This is not some fly-by-night kind of thing. I mean, rock and roll has been going on since the mid-50s, right? And it's going through tremendous changes. Obviously, you know, there's a lot of music that I'm not particularly fond of. At the same time, there's a lot of music I'm really fond of being made. So it's this continual evolution of music that will represent the youth of the country. You know, rap music represents, it's almost like a newspaper for the street, you know. And you know, the next phase will evolve, and I'll be very curious, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be around to be able to witness it, whatever it is. To me, rock and roll gives you the ability to move your body, to shake your ass, to get you up moving. Having done that, it can provide you with storylines that can improve your life, that can make you feel less crazy, make you feel less alone. Rock and roll is a force to be reckoned with, unquestionably. I'm a musician, period. I don't care what I'm using, I don't care what I'm writing, I don't care if I don't have an instrument, I can write in my head. In my head, I have so many songs that are all coming off this conveyor belt. I know I have 32 new songs that are already complete, but I've got many other bits and pieces where I'll be walking or I'll be talking to you and I'll go off. Oh. And I know that a melody that I've written is going to go with some lyrics that I just wrote, and then all of a sudden I have a line, now I need a second line and a third line, okay, now we need a chorus. And my point is that I'll never stop writing music. There is too much going on in this world not to be able to write. Yeah, one right now that I wrote with my friend James Raymond, who is Crosby's son and is the keyboard player in the Crosby, Stills and Nash band. Him and I, with a little help from Marcus Eaton, wrote a song called Burning for the Buddha, which is about the 128 Tibetan monks that have burned themselves to death in the last year alone. And I tell this story about when we were protesting the Vietnam War, one particular image got through to me personally of a monk that had burned himself to death, a Vietnamese Buddhist monk that had burned himself to death in protest for the Vietnam War. And it was on the front page of every newspaper. But you don't even know that 128 Tibetans have burned themselves to death in this year. You don't know that? You don't know, dear. Isn't that interesting? So here again, once again, town criers moving from city to city to tell people what's going on. There is so much to write about, and it's not all bad. I can fall in love with a beautiful face. I can laugh at something that happened and write about it. It's not all doom and gloom, but there are issues that need to be faced. We seem, at this point of our lives, to be much more interested in Justin Bieber's monkey than we are in the conflict in Syria right now. The Rolling Stones were very encouraging to us at the beginning. We played several shows with them. They helped us out writing lyrics. Mick explained to me what Satisfaction was about, and you know, maybe come back next week because today I'm on a losing streak. He explained what that was about. They led us into their lyrics in a nice way. It was very informative to us. I always loved their music. How the hell could you not like Rolling Stones music? We did several tours with them that were very successful. Brian Jones, who at the time was not that happy with Mick and Keith. It was originally, I believe, Brian's band to do blues, and Mick and Keith were taking it in a different direction that maybe Brian didn't like so much. So my point is that he would drive with me and Alan and Tony. He wouldn't travel with the Rolling Stones towards the end of that tour. The Hollies.
Why is that?
Because I expected me and David and Stephen to get in. Everybody did. It was just a question of time. I didn't know that the Hollies were going to be in. And when the word came through, finally, that we were inducted, I enjoyed that much more than I did when me and David and Stephen, which I also enjoyed. I just enjoyed the Hollies more because it tied up a lot of musical circles for me.